Okay, good morning, everyone. To Dr. Fe Hidalgo, the
Good morning.
presiding officer of this General Assembly, our dear President, President Esther Garcia, and Dr. Mel Garcia. We were colleagues for a while at De La Salle. And then, of course, Dean Evangelista, who is heading the math group at the FUSE, and my colleagues who are with me here to deliver this talk. My task is to introduce what we'll be talking about today. So next slide, please. When the FUSE math group met lately under the leadership of Dean Tina, we did some brainstorming. We asked ourselves, what do we really want to do? Dean Tina said that, well, the concepts and principles in math and the statistics have stood the test of time. Next slide, please. Even with the advances in technology, math and statistics are still relevant today. To use a popular expression, may forever sa math and statistics. Having said that, these things, next slide please. We also recognize two major changes in the educational landscape. First, the advances in technology, particularly internet, has led to information explosion. So much so that the teacher is not the only source of information in the classroom anymore. It also made the classroom borderless. Second, next slide please. The profile of learners has changed. We are now trying to engage learners who are woke, aware of so many things, exposed to different media. They enjoy multitasking and are generally visual learners, especially the millennials. Considering these two major changes and the fact that the mission of AGES is focused on providing training to basic education teachers, we came up with this title, Repackaging the Teaching of Mathematics and Statistics. I think I'm hearing some echo. So next slide, please. So according to the dictionary, to repackage means to present in a new way. Some synonyms are enliven, spice up, ignite, embroider, embellish, bring something to life. And that is exactly what we want to do with the teaching of math and statistics. The shift to online and flexible learning necessitated the need to repackage the FUSE materials that we are using for teacher training. In particular, with webinars occurring here and there, we need to come up with something that will be relevant to the situation of our teachers without replicating the materials and trainings that are already available in the net. So we decided to splice the Constech videos into small segments of not more than 10 minutes. This fits the situation in most online classes. We are aware that even with the use of technology, LMS, Google Docs, Messenger, emails, there's still a need to process the information that we are presenting to our students. Even with the advantages of asynchronous learning, where students have more time to read and process the material being presented to them, the student-teacher interaction is still necessary. For most teachers, it is one way of ensuring that the student understands the lesson being presented to them. For others, it's a way of getting a pulse about how the entire class is proceeding. And more importantly, it is a recognition that the teacher, because of his or her maturity and experience, is the best guide or coach that the student can have in his or her learning journey. So a short, good quality video material suited to the context of our own educational system will be very useful to our teachers. So today, our group will be presenting some repackaged video materials in mathematics and statistics. We have carefully chosen the topics so that most of us can relate to them. For some, perhaps, this will be a crash course in some areas of basic mathematics and statistics. For others, we hope that you will find them useful. If not for your own class, then perhaps for the use of your colleagues, especially to those in the provinces who can benefit from additional materials aside from the modules and learning activity sheets that they are using. So next slide, please. Next, please. Sorry. Kasunod jam, next, please. Yeah. So as you watch the videos and listen to the discussion, I have some requests. First, it will really help if you have a pen and paper. Some of the lessons involve sketching a graph. Second, lessons in math are meant to be processed slowly. Although we admire people who can perform mental calculations, there is just much more in math than just calculations. So in math and statistics, we present concepts and ideas. And ideas, if properly understood, have consequences. So we encourage you to take down notes. Take note of the terms that you may have heard in the past, but may still be ambiguous to you, or perhaps with new terms that you will hear today. And lastly, I encourage you to have or to listen to our talk with an open mind. So may I now turn you over to Dr. Ragasa, who will present the videos that we have carefully chosen. Good day and happy viewing.
Good morning, everybody. I did not expect I will be the first one. But anyway, there's one video on understanding probabilities that was very long, that lasted for around 30 minutes. So what we did was to splice the videos into 4 parts. Am I coming in clear?
Yes, ma'am.
The one video that lasted for 30 minutes, what we did was to splice it, divide it into 4 videos, and remove unnecessary parts. What we try to do is choose the appropriate parts that would conform to the learning modules that we're supposed to do for grade 8. Understanding probability are supposed to help in illustrating an experiment, outcomes, samples, space, and events. Count the number of occurrences of outcome in an experiment by showing tables, tree diagrams, systematic listing, fundamental principles, and define the probability of simple events, illustrate experimental probabilities and theoretical and solve problems involving probabilities of simple events. We decided to divide the one video of 30 minutes into 4 videos less than 10 minutes. all these learning competencies in each of those videos. We will start with the first one now, Understanding Probability Video number 1. To summarize, the first video consists of defining two sets, the set of events occurring and the set of sample space. Now, it was defined in this video that the probability of an event to happen would mean it's a fraction. It's a fraction between the number of events occurring and the number of sample space. So if the sample space is equal to the set of, let's say, if it is the probability of, well, the sample space is not yet included here, the one of dice, but if there is a sample space of 1 to 6, because there are 6 spaces of die, then the probability of even numbers occurring would be 3 over 6 or 1/2. Now for a head or a tail in a coin, what this video is trying to say, there is a 1/2 probability of a head occurring and 1/2 probability of a tail occurring. So this simply defining how to get all probabilities, which is the number of the event occurring divided by the number of sample space occurring.
Right.
So to summarize, the third video consisted of the relative frequency approach of events, where the definition of an event is a sample as a sample of the it's a subset of a sample point, and it shows that when there's an equally likely occurrence of events in the sample space, then you can compute for the probability of the event as n of e over capital N, where the n is the number of sample points in the sample space. There have been several examples that were shown in the video to explain the meaning of this formula for computing the probability of a sample event. So this video summarizes two things. They are on the problem-solving application of probabilities on the deck of cards, and that is to find out the probability of drawing out like a king for example, or a diamond in a deck of 52 cards. The second example is the birthday problem. If there is what is the probability that at least two people share the same birthday in a group of people of 23, for example, or a group of people of 30, or a group of people, let's say 50 people in a room. So the way of solving this is via first finding out the probability of no two people sharing the same birthday. That would be an easier way, which is 1 minus the probability of at least two people sharing the same birthday is equal to 1 minus the probability of at least no two people sharing the same birthday. That's a very interesting problem, and we have seen some computations there that for 23 people in a room, it has a big probability actually. So yeah, this ends the 4 videos on probability, understanding probability. It was one video, as I said, that was divided into 4 videos, and we removed some parts that were not necessary so that we can make each video part less than 10 minutes. I average this just like 7 minutes for each of the videos. Thank you very much, and now I give you back to Melvin.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, we would like to say that we're still working on some videos. This is just the start of what we're doing. We intend to splice more videos. But I think Dean Tina will now try to present the videos for linear programming, I think.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Dr. Fer Hidalgo, our Vice President of the Foundation. Good morning, Dr. Garcia, our President of the University of Days. I think she has left already because of another webinar or meeting. For the information of everyone, we in the math group have already spliced at least 10 videos. And this morning, we're going to present the video contained on this number 5, episode number 17, whose title is Meeting the Criteria. Now, in splicing the videos, what we did was to shorten, first is shorten the video into, from 30 minutes to maybe 9 or 10 minutes. And then we included the competencies that were included by DepEd in the revised curriculum for the basic education, Now, for this video, for this episode, we divided it into 3 parts, and then the 3 parts of the video would illustrate linear inequalities into variables, differentiate linear inequalities into variables from linear equations into variables, and then it would also show the students how to graph linear inequalities into variables, and then solve problems involving linear inequalities into variables. It will also teach the students how to solve system of linear inequalities into variables and solve problems involving system of linear inequalities into variables. I think that is all for our presentation.